Sometimes we see artists that we admire, or we go to a movie and we see the beautiful thing, everything comes together, and we feel like we could never, be that good, or we could never learn to do things that way. But it's not about the outcome. It's not about the final thing. It's about the way that you nurture your soul into doing the things. My name is Rosa Murillo, and I make wearable art.
Here we go. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be fun.
Imagine leaving your career as a successful architect to become an artist. Rosa's message of "do it scared" not only encouraged me, but it motivated me, and I have no doubt it'll do the same for you.
When I was young, my mom will say this poem about this little girl that she's a princess, she has everything, right? Then one day, she sees a star, and she tells her dad, "Can you go get that star for me?" And the dad goes like, there's some things that you really cannot get, and that's one of them. "Oh, but I really do want it." And so she says, "I'm gonna go get it." And so she goes through the ocean and up the sky, and she just goes and finds the star, and she just plucks it. And then she comes back, and so she makes this beautiful thing, and she's wearing it. And so when her dad sees her again, she's glowing, right? With this, with the star and everything. "What did you do? You have to put it back." And she goes "But it's so beautiful." And so in the poem, God tells the dad, all of the things are for my children, and she can have it. What really made me so interested in that poem was that it just changed my way on how I look at things, because that pin was not just a star that it was a whole adventure. She's wearing it, she's so proud of it. And so I thought, objects have meaning, objects have stories. Adornment, jewelry at its best, is not just adornment, it shows people a little window about your inner life, of who you are. And I was just mesmerized by that idea. When we first moved to the United States, being an immigrant from a different country, with an accent, looking differently, I felt like I needed to, I just wanted to just not be seen. I just wanted to blend with everybody, because I felt like I still was not good enough. Now I understand that being seen is important, because you are like a stewardship of who you are, what you do, where you come from. I feel like when I was little, I wanted to understand everybody, and I wanted to be understood. And when I came to the United States, I figured I'm like a little kid again. I want to understand everybody. I want to be understood. I wanted that need for connection. I found it through art. Architecture is art that is made so that people can live inside of it. And I love that about architecture, So my movement from being an architect to started painting, and then into making jewelry. I loved the scale of architecture, but when you put it into the human scale and you make a small thing that you can carry with you, it's like, architecture to, scale to a human form. Jewelry is something that you use to express your inner life to the outside world. It's something that you choose. So you can put it on, wear it, and it walks with you. My mom, she's an artist since she was little. For maybe a year, she painted this tiger that hung on top of our living room. And she just go to it every single day, and she will paint a little bit of it. And when she was stressed out, she will go and paint. And when she was sad, she will go and paint. And she worked on it for a whole year. It was just so impressive. It was a huge painting, but it represented my mom's time and my mom's effort. And I learned to associate art with self-expression. You go to art to sort things out. When you're stressed, when you're tired, when you're feeling anxious, you go to art. And at the end, it really doesn't matter what you created because it's more about the process. When we started doing Muro Jewelry, it was hard because I had to take a leap of faith that, it was going to work. I had to let go of the feeling that that stability of always knowing where the next paycheck was going to come from. We have 3 kids, and so it was scary. But if you want to really make a difference, and if you want to teach your kids every second of your life is worth, then you really have to make those kind of jumps and those kind of leaps. And some days you feel like you made the worst decision, but then there's come some days that you're just like, oh my gosh, what if I hadn't done this? You will never know if you could have done this or the other thing if you don't go and try it first. And whenever I hear my kids saying something like, I'm just not good at that, or I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm going well, don't say that you're not good at something if you haven't done it, or if you haven't practiced enough for you to be able to say, I really am not good at that because I've tried for 3 years. Then you can say that you're not good at something. I thought that first you need to be really confident on something and to start. And I feel like it's the other way around. Action makes you confident, not the other way around. You just have to start. So we try to tell our kids to do it scared. Even if they're scared, just go and do it. Whatever you make, whatever it's there after you finish making, that's not what's the important part of making art is. The important part of making art is the way that it transforms you, how it changes you, because you learn something new. If you want to succeed at something, you have to start. That is where the confidence comes from. Nothing was wasted. It was just part of the journey that I get to share now. Mm-hmm. I want to look back to my 10-year-old self when I was little, and I want her to be proud of what she did. I want her to know that it's, we're still believing in magic, in that magical pin that, you could just get a star and put it on and just make you feel so special. I want that spirit to still be in our practice. They say that all of the children are artists and then they just, stop. They don't stop. They just didn't believe that they could still be doing it. When I think about the little girl I was, what she didn't know then was that it was possible to keep believing in magical things, in that idea that you are important. You do not need to shrink to be valued. I asked so many questions when I was little, and I just wanted to see the world through other people's eyes. I wanted to understand everything, and I felt like sometimes it was too much. And so I felt like I needed to shrink and just be more observant. Now I wish I could go tell her that that wasn't true. You're not too much. It's you. That's who you are. And I wish I could tell her that it was just pure love, It was pure need to connect. I wish I could tell her that she succeeded in that.